up, and welcome into a Saturday edition of Views from Your Stands. I'm your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan, and we truly appreciate you guys tuning into the show. And if you haven't noticed, we are back to full strength, and we are ready to rock and roll. We got Mr. BC in the building, and we got the G Mike, the GM, my man. I am so excited for this weekend show, man. We have a lot to talk about, and it's going to have a lot of fun. So on today's show, we're going to talk about the conference finals, man. They're in full court press, full swing. We got everything going on. We'll give our thoughts on the series. The NFL, unfortunately, lost one of its owners this week, so we'll give our respects to that one. The CFP is making another major change to the sport, which I think is going to have a lot of ramifications. We'll definitely give you our thoughts on that one. We have a lot of Downbad Debates today as well. That seems like it's been a pretty fun segment for everybody, so we really hope everybody chimes in and jumps in. We got a 90s NBA snake draft, which is going to be a lot of fun. Which sophomore QB is going to have the best second season and one gotta go NBA style? We're going to have a couple of guys up there. We're going to try to figure out who we would kick off out of the group. But before we get to all that, Mr. G Mike, why don't you go ahead and start us off, my man? It's great to see you on a Saturday morning, and let the people know what you got going on.
Yes, sir. It feels good to be here. Feels good to be alive. I already know Saturday for the boys. Guys, if you're into sports gambling, I run a gambling channel on Telegram where we offer daily slips to get you anywhere from $25 to $50 to $100 of winnings each and every day. It's only $10 a month where you can make some money in return off of sports gambling and off of some other ways of getting money into the chat. I would not display the link up here on the chat because I don't have it with me. But if you're watching the recorded episode, you'll see it pop up on your screen, or you'll see my social media accounts. So just slide in my DM. We'll start a conversation on how to get you up and popping.
Absolutely. Mr. BC, I know you got a good thing going on, man. It's good to see you on a Saturday and have the boys back together. Let people know what you got going on, my man.
Of course. Well, the wife and I, we got we got a photography, wedding videography business over here. Sorry, Jim Mike. Just had that little pause right there. Just a little jab right there for you, man. I was like, we're run a line.
What's the line?
Yeah.
Who has the cards out? Who has the cards out?
That's my motivation.
Oh man, but my wife and I, we got a small little business down here in Central Florida, Brandis.media. We got your wedding and event photography, videography down here. Great husband and wife duo. We've been doing this thing now for a couple years now. So shout out to the grind and the missus. She's been making things popping down here. Again, if you or anybody you know has got that very important question to ask, if you guys got those two big words that seal the deal for the rest of your life, or if you got some companies, some friends, some events that need some coverage, we got you guys covered at branddesk.media. Check out the portfolio online, see if we're what you want. If we're not what you want, it's all good, all love. But again, that's branddesk.media. Regardless of what the event or the occasion, we're here to make memories that last a lifetime.
Absolutely. Well, we wanted to give a couple shout outs to a couple other companies that's been riding with us as well. We want to give a big shout out to Varsity Sports Nation. You want live high school sports, they got you, man. You go on college sports, they got you. You want sports content just like you're watching on the show, they got you. The best part is it's all on a convenient app that you can download on your iOS, your Android, Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, as well as your social medias. You can also watch shows on demand, including our show as well. So check Varsity Sports Nation out. It's a great company, and we really appreciate them riding with us. And last but definitely not least, we got millionsports.co. Million Sports has been helping us out since the day one, and they great content. They have also as well on-demand content. And if you want to get in touch with a few athletes, maybe you might be able to hook that up. There are a lot of interviews and a lot of great content that's on there. So please give them a like and subscribe. As well as, we would be remiss if we didn't ask for it as well, man. If you please can give us a like and subscribe, we would really appreciate it. We've been really trying to get our promoting out there. Please just go ahead and give the like and subscribe. All right, boys. And as we keep on going on, man, we're going to go ahead and get the show started, man. And we have to start on a little bit of a somber note here. It's going to be that we lost one of the owners in the NFL, man, one of the best. It's Mr. Jim Irsay, unfortunately passed away at the age of 65. He was the owner of my Indianapolis Colts. He took over in 1997 after his father owned the team originally. This is a major loss because he was such a young guy that was very energetic and charismatic with the NFL. BC, man, you got any thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, it's like you said, it's the passing of a legend for sure in the industry, responsible for so many great teams that came out of Indianapolis. Like you said, took over for his dad. His dad was kind of responsible for getting the team out of Baltimore and moving them into Indianapolis. kind of a little controversy there, and I'm sure you can elaborate more on that one in a sec. But yeah, he really helped bring that team from the doldrums of where it was at to the 80s and the 90s or in the early 90s to really, responsible for bringing in guys like Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne on the offensive side, and then bringing in head coach Tony Dungy, really ushering in a new era in Colts football, and then ultimately culminating in them winning a Super Bowl championship back in 2006. Again, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, stretches in franchise history. So it's sad to see him pass, but he left a great legacy behind, I think, in terms of Indianapolis history. And whoever will be stepping in, big shoes to fill for sure. But he left a great legacy behind, and will definitely be missed for sure.
Well, the benefit is that it's going to continue to be in the family business. The big rumor is going to be that his 3 daughters will be taking over, in which his daughters have already been VPs and have been in the organization since pretty much Irsay has taken over, where they be able to become adults to do it. So it's not going to be much of a major transition, almost kind of like Jerry Buss and Jeannie Buss taking over, So he's going to keep it a family business, which is also really cool. The thing is, I wanted to also bring up another thing about Irsay as well, besides the football aspect, was that the man loved rock music, man. He loved playing guitar. He could play guitar himself, but he had one of the largest guitar collections in the world. It was almost like a mini museum. He loved collecting them. He was just a different type of guy, and it sucks because he was only 65 years old. There's some guys that don't even get into NFL ownership until they're 65 years old. So he's been one of the youngest. He was, at the time, the youngest owner. I believe he took over at 37 years old, taking over the franchise. Yeah. And clearly led them in the right path when they landed Peyton Manning and, like you mentioned as well, Reggie Wayne. Can't forget about the defensive side of the ball. Bob Sanders, all these other guys with smart Polian, and bring in some good GMs and just to allow them to do it. Now, Irsay also was very much involved with the team. He absolutely loved his Indianapolis Colts. Sometimes a little bit too much and got a little bit too much involved. Not as much as Jerry Jones. He's not doing that, but he made some interesting decisions sometimes and was kind of hard to deal with from what I understand from the player side of it sometimes. But overall, the absolute love for his team was very apparent and always will be there. And hell, just before he passed away, he loved Indiana so much that it was one of his last tweet was "Let's go Pacers" and rooting him on in the conference championships. So absolute sports nut, and just it's going to be really sad to see him actually now that he's passed away. Mike, man, you got anything for Irsay?
Not really much. I mean, you guys touched up on a lot of stuff when it comes to his success and owning a franchise in the NFL, one of the top leagues in our nation. I just want to go on more of a human note here. Like I've read that he struggled with a lot of drugs and alcohol throughout his life. In 2014, he checked into rehab after an arrest for driving under the influence and possession charges, which was one of 15 times in his life that he has been to rehab. He revealed in 2023 that he passed an overdose that stopped his breathing and almost killed him. He was found unresponsive in his home in December 2023 for a suspected overdose. So I just want to say, I'm not no one to judge on like what people do outside of their careers or what they do in their lives. Like everybody has their own things, but if you are into drugs and alcohol, just keep it moderate, because if you do it too much, this is one prime example on how it can end your life early, because 65, if you really think about it, is really early. It's not old. If you really think about it, it is not old. It is early, and because of these decisions that he has made in his life is one of the reasons. I'm not going to say all of the reasons, or even most, but I would say one of the reasons why he passed away early. So, if you're into that lifestyle, just try to keep it very moderate, because you end your life early.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you need any kind of help or anything out there, just reach out to somebody. Somebody always cares, man.
Yeah, and it's not impossible to kick those habits. It's not impossible to put it down for good. And like G Mike said there, and what Steve was saying, there's a lot of places, a lot of people out there that can and will help. So you're not alone.
Yeah. Well, R.I.P. to Mr. Irsay, and we'll raise a glass and say, cheers and rest in peace, my man. So we're going to continue to move on. It's always hard to transition from someone passing away to continue to talk about sports, but that's what we're here for, and it's a Saturday. We want to liven it up a little bit. We have definitely some interesting news coming out. The college football playoff system has changed once again. And this one I feel like is very, very interesting, and I want to get you guys' opinions on this one for sure. So now they went from having the top 4 seeds, and then you had your fallen from the conference championships. Now it is going to be the top 4 seeds that the committee chooses will get the automatic bid. I personally think this is ridiculous. I'm going to have BC, you're up top, my man. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on this new change.
Before BC goes, can you please clarify what this is if you obviously know? Clarify it more in a dummy sense, right? And I'm not just saying for everybody. I'm saying for me too, because I honestly do not know the ins and outs of this whole new deal, new era.
So the main thing with it was that it came down to money, just like anything in the world does. It was that it came down to money. And so now they're able to give people some more money. Now people will still be getting chunks if you make the 12-team playoff. Before it was they were talking about conference championships. And so they chose the top 4 college football championships that won the conference. They advanced to the first, they get the automatic first round bye. This new system, it's going to be what the committee, and the committee is a group of 10, I believe it is, and they all vote on who they think deserves to be in the spots that they are. Now it's going to be their vote is going to get the top 4 automatic bye first round playoff. It's not going to come down to conference championship again anymore. It's not even going to do with record. It's going to come down to what the committee believes is the top 4 best teams.
The committee themselves, no one else, just the committee themselves.
It's the committee themselves. Yep.
That's all fucking money, bro. It's all money, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it either. BC, man, what's your thoughts on it, buddy?
No, I mean, you're literally just like you guys said, you're basing it off money, and now you're giving all the power again back to these playoff committees and stuff like that. Like I'm so, when it comes to college football rankings and everything like that, like that's the one thing that kind of pisses me off. It's like I get it. These selection committees and everything like that, they play a hand and stuff, but you're giving more power now to the committees. Mm-hmm. Instead of just putting the best, like I get it. People don't like, all the conference champions and this and that, like ranking this person out of that person. Like I get it. People want to say, oh, well, the SEC is the greatest, or oh, Big Ten is, but I'm just so tired of giving all the power to a group of people that can decide whether or not this team that won this conference is greater than this team that won. I don't like it. You're basically putting the power in the hands of an oligarchy for college football, which I'm not a fan of.
Yep, and those same people are going to select the same teams that they want to see there all the time.
Yep.
Ohio State,
SEC.
Alabama. You know, they want to see the top teams. Obviously, they bring in the most money because a lot of these schools, if you really think about it, what is there to do in Alabama? To go watch a football game. What is there to do in Ohio State? Go watch a football game. That's why they're bringing in the most money, and obviously they're talented. Obviously, they're one of the best football schools in the country for sure. But it should just be on records. Who has the best record? The top 12 teams that have the best record, boom, get in. That's it.
Yep.
And so I get make a difference and stuff, but still, like,
you still have to go out there and win your games. And again, I'm sorry, I'm sounding like a broken record at this point. I don't care. I've got my Orlando garb on. UCF 2017 undefeated record. I'm not saying they would have won the national championship. I'm not even saying they would have made it past the first round of the college football playoff, but they deserve to be there over a team that didn't even compete in the conference championship game. Come on.
So honestly, I feel like I'll try and make this a little bit more simpler than for everybody in this situation to me. I think, and this is what I was talking about last time, and I think the reason they changed it was the same thing I was complaining about last time when this came up, was that a Boise State and Arizona State, or excuse me, not really Arizona State, Boise State got one of the byes. I think what they need, they can make this very simple. If they're going to keep it at 12 teams, which I'm sure they're probably going to advance it more because more means more money, and that's just obvious. But if you're going to keep it at 12, why not solidify which of the top 6 conferences then are going to be the ones that actually matter? So let's go together here. You got your Big 10, SEC, ACC. Who else we got? We got the Big 12.
Yep.
You got, and you have your independent if you want to. And then if you wanted to have, because the Mountain West made it in last year, make the Mountain West or the American, one of those other smaller conferences. Those make it, this is the top 6. Those 6 teams are going to be the automatic, they get it in because they won their conference championship. And then you find the next 6 best, and that's your 12 team. If you want to go with that route, I think that's the easiest route to do it. You can kind of go through with the strength of schedule, if you will, to find out who's going to get a bye. or you give just one bye, something along those lines, kind of like how the NFL does it. The top 2 seeds get the bye and everybody else has to play it out. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And also, I think the other thing they need to change is they need to change the way these places, where they play the games. I think that if you're going to have like the Sugar Bowl or something along those lines, if you had the Sugar Bowl in, let's go, Alabama versus Ohio State, and it's in Louisiana, that doesn't help any of them teams for getting to that spot, to making to that place. It should be the higher seeded team gets to host the game at home. That brings in more sales to the school, more. It makes them better so that they were able to get that school there. That's the point of winning, is not, so I just don't, I think they're moving this overly complicated for a reason they don't really need to. And also, if they're going back to just having the 10 people decide, then why the hell did we get rid of the BCS system with the computers to begin with? Because now we're just doing the exact same thing that people didn't like because they didn't like the computer system. Well, now we're leaving it in the hands of people's opinion, opposed to at least the computers had no bias. They just looked at what the stats were. You put the numbers in, they crunched it, and these are your best teams. Yep. It doesn't make any sense to me now that we're having all this weight on these 10 people. And you can't tell me the fact of that, hey, my alma mater is Notre Dame, and Notre Dame isn't going to possibly get a couple more votes, or, hey, here's an extra 10 G's in your back pocket. Make sure Alabama gets in. It just leads to so much behind the scenes stuff that I just don't like. I feel like they're overcomplicating this, and I don't like the new system at all.
You know what I say we do? Just looking at it right now, too, the amount of conferences that we have. We've got 11 total conferences for college football. We have 2 of them that have less than 5 teams in the conference, which it's funny how they're called independents, but it's still a conference. Like, it's still why don't we force the independents to join conferences? And then also, too, the Pac-12, 2 member schools. I know they're talking about growing it and stuff like that. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. There's no point. Mountain West and Pac-12 can join together. You've got 13 teams there, right there. Boom. Problem solved there. Independence. Make Notre Dame join, I don't know, the ACC. Like, make them join that for football. And then I believe it's Army and Navy. Make them join the conference. Make them join conferences as well.
Well, the Army and the Army is definitely in a conference as they're in the American.
Okay, so then that. Let me take a look. Oh, we got University of Connecticut, and then UMass Amherst. Yeah, that's interesting. But just make these other teams join conferences, and you've got 9 conferences with at least 10 teams. Why not, if we keep 12, let's just try 1 year where and people are going to go ahead, roast me in the comments. I don't care. Do 1 year where do the conference champions from the 9, and then have 3 wildcard teams or 9 at-large teams. And then that way, everybody that wins a conference championship,
makes the best sense right there.
Yes, we can at least satisfy those people, and they can shut up. It can shut them up, and then that way as well, you've got every conference represented. And then if the SEC is superior as they say, then you've got 3 other SEC schools that are represented. Then they'll run the gambit, and then you've satisfied everybody. Everyone can stop complaining. Oh, we don't get, the MAC isn't represented. Mountain West isn't always represented. Sun Belt isn't always represented. Just everyone's included. You still have 3 at-large teams that can make their claim. You can still put Alabama. You can still put, let's say, Oklahoma or Texas, and Oregon. We'll just say, and then everybody is represented, and you're okay. Just do it that way for 1 year. See how it works. And then if it doesn't work, then you go back, you figure something out. Like, we're still experimenting a lot with the college football playoff. I don't think there's any problem with dissolving a couple of these conferences, and then you have 9 total, and then you have 3 at large. Why not?
So the pushback on that would be, but there's some SEC teams that are better than other teams in other conferences, right?
Win your conference.
It's just exactly. It's just like the NFL. There's divisions. Yes. There's teams in several divisions that are complete trash, and they still make it in the playoffs. Yep. BC's division in particular, and then you got other divisions where teams, they're all great and they all make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, bro, just be good. Just win your games. That's it. If you're an SEC team and you're not in the top 3, sucks to suck. Be better. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
It's like
I don't understand why you guys are getting so upset because you're better than other teams in other conferences. Okay, that's not your conference. In your specific conference, you are not the best. Sucks to suck.
Well, and the thing is, if you're that butthurt about, oh, well, we're in the SEC, so we can't win. Here's a great thing. You can lobby to go outside the SEC and go somewhere else. Oh, but you're too scared and you're too afraid that you're not going to be relevant because you're because you're outside the SEC. It's like, no, under this new
Can't
system,
please everybody. Can't please
yeah,
everybody.
under this new system, if you're that upset that you can't be represented because you're like fourth in the SEC, you can now go somewhere else and dominate and be represented. Genius idea.
Yeah, I think that with this new system, that's where it kind of it defeats the purpose of even having a conference championship now if it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's the point. It's like I understand people's rhetoric with certain conferences being tougher than others. I get it. It doesn't matter what level of sport you're going to play at; it's always going to be there. So how about we make the focus and the point of these conferences to win games? Because at that point, if you're just saying, "Oh, well, I can be 6-6, but I deserve to be in the playoffs because I'm in the SEC," that negates the point of winning football games. At that point, you're just going based off of alleged strength of schedule, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, I agree. I think this should be a lot simpler. This should be a lot simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like this should be a hell of a lot simpler, and I think you're on the right page with it, is that if that's the case, if we're going to do that, and that's what March Madness, I mean, how many times made it happen even last year? There's always an upset, and you get these obscure conferences that make it in, and they get a chance, and hey, it works out. And I think that's what they should be doing, is allowing all the conferences that that are eligible to make it in. You take that conference champion, you go in. So then you have your Mountain West. Now, don't give them an automatic bye, because if you want to go out, that's where strength of schedule would actually come in. At least they make the tournament and they have their opportunity, and you're not like having the UCFs of the world that's like, hey, we were undefeated and we basically got nothing out of it. So I think you're completely right on that. And I think that's what the path should be, is that you get all these conferences, they get in, and then that's where the committee can come in. If you're going to, let's go boil it down to 8 or 9, whatever you're going to believe it is, 8 or 9 conferences that actually matter, that are going to get in. But that's where the committee comes in. They decide and vote on the other 3 to 4 teams that get in. They can also vote on who gets the buys. You can, that one's pretty subjective. That one's not necessarily as subjective. You can look at strength of schedule, key wins, points. There's a lot of things you can do, or just go back to the computers, type it in, have all the analytics in there, and the computer decides this is the best on paper. And by the way, what's interesting too is, since they got rid of the computers, the computers and the people have only been off by 2 picks. So really, it hasn't really changed much. So why don't we just go back to the computers,
And I'm in complete favor, by the way, of with regards to if we want to base the buys on strength of schedule, I'm in complete favor. Okay, give the Power 4 conferences the bye, because that's their legacy. Like, if we want to have a legacy pick or a legacy thing, let that be the determining factor. And then, if you get a school like a UCF that's in the American, they go undefeated, let's say 1 year, and it's like, okay, congratulations, you went undefeated. Now go prove you belong in this system, prove that your conference deserves to have a bye, and maybe if you make a deep run, maybe then next year you can say, hey, we went far in the playoffs, we won the national championship, our conference deserves a bye this year. Okay, well, let's see which conference first round bye got bounced early in the playoff system. Oh, let's say the Big 12 did. Okay, well, Big 12 now doesn't get a bye this year. The American gets a bye this year. That way you kind of
I don't know. I don't know if I could go with like the legacy thing, because then I think that doesn't really help out your purpose.
Well, what I'm saying is just for the first playoff, like, give those legacy ones their nod, and then if you do have a conference that goes far, that earns the chance next year to get the playoff bye, they get it, and then whichever conference got bounced first, like, let's say Big 12 gets bounced in the first round of their bye, then they get kicked out, and the American gets the chance to get the first round bye. And it's that way it's a merit-based system where you've earned the right for that conference to get the bye. Whereas if you lose in your first opportunity, well, you got to earn that spot back. I don't know. It's
almost like soccer, like relegation, I guess, if you will.
Pretty much, yeah.
It all comes down to money. It comes down to money. At the end of the day, this is why they're changing it. They probably didn't make as much money as they thought they would last season, or didn't get as many views as they thought last season by putting Boise State in there and these other teams that shouldn't even been in there. And they got to put the big dogs in there because they know it's going to bring money. That's why they switched it up, and they're like, yo, you know what? We're going to go back to the committee, and we're going to make the decision on who gets in and who's out, because they know. They see the numbers. They see all the stats when it comes to money making business with this whole college football playoff system.
What's
At the end
wild,
of the
man,
day,
is
they're gonna keep doing that. They're gonna keep doing that. They're gonna keep pushing for the money. It's not on which teams win or lose, or which teams in which conference are the better teams. It's just gonna be which teams bring in the most money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, man. And guess what, fellas? We are exactly almost 2 months away from the start of actual college football. So this conversation will be coming back up. I am
Oh, yeah.
damn sure positive. In about 2 months, August 23rd is the official kickoff of college football for week 0. And man, it cannot come here fast enough as we sit here
Yes.
May 24th, man.
Oh,
Can you believe that football is only about 2 months away, maybe 3
man.
at most, So we got that going on. But we also have some big news out there, man, and we're going to jump into that other major sport that everybody loves out there, and the NBA playoffs are back, and they are in full swing, man. Let me tell you what, it's been a fun, fascinating Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals. As of we stand right now, because it's a game that happened last night, we'll start in the East. We have the Indiana Pacers, Indiana, baby. Yeah, we have the Indiana Pacers up 2-0 on them New York Knickerbockers. Mr. BC, my man, what is your thoughts on this, and is this a surprise to you?
My boy Stevie B pulling out the old school, the full name right there, the full government name for the Knicks. All right, I like it. I'm very surprised. I mean, I thought it would be kind of competitive. The New York Indiana rivalry does have some history to it. I mean, obviously you go back to the 90s, Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, like those squads, they had some good battles back then, almost as classic as the Bulls and Knicks rivalry. But I definitely was not expecting Indiana to jump out to a 2-game lead for sure. But again, we talked about it again their previous series. The fact that they were able to make it this far, they've been doing it off of a team first approach. They've been doing it off of being able to score from anywhere on the floor, and they're making the majority of their shots. It's been relatively close in terms of points, rebounds, assists. The big difference in this series has been the 3-point shot. Again, Indiana is averaging 42% from 3. New York, they're only hitting 33 from outside. And if you look at the stats so far, I mean, it's been the Jalen Brunson show pretty much for New York. Whereas, again, Indiana, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in double digits for scoring for Indiana. Again, Pascal's leading it, Tyrese is leading it, Aaron Nesmith, 3 guys with 20-plus points. So they've been doing a great job of just being able to hit from anywhere with anybody. And so that's pretty much been the secret for success for Indiana this entire playoff series. So they've been a very pleasant surprise, and they're showing that last year's run really was no fluke. Anybody that's counted them out, counted Tyrese Halliburton out, and anyone that's counted Pascal Siakam out, he's been, I think, when we talk about the Pacers, we've talked a lot about Tyrese, and a lot of people have underestimated him, but Pascal Siakam's gotten forgotten about, and he really should not have. Again, 28 points, 5 boards, 4.5 assists, 1.5 steals. Like, he's had a great series. 50, 40, well, I was going to say it was about 50. He shot 50% or 56% from the field, 43% from 3. He's been quietly showing himself as well that, hey, he wasn't just a great product in Toronto on those teams. Like, he's really been able to kind of co-lead this team along with Tyrese. So it's a great team-oriented approach, and New York just hasn't really found an answer to it. And I love me some Jalen Brunson, but you're down 2-0. You've got to find a way to get everybody else involved and not just your main 2 or 3 stars on the squad.
You were talking about people talk about Halliburton. How about he's literally the entire NBA forgot about, my man. He's the most overrated player. So, G-Mike, brother, like same question to you, man. 2-0, New York's down right now, man. What's your thoughts on this?
I thought it would be 1-1 right now. The Pacers have been showing that they're a great team throughout this whole playoffs, throughout the whole year, really. But a lot of people undermined them, and especially Tyrese Halliburton. A lot of people called him overrated, and he's showing that he can lead a team. He can facilitate. He can shoot the 3 ball, and he can show that he's clutch as well. He won't quit, just like his whole squad. They will not quit, and that is one reason why the New York Knicks are down, because this whole playoffs, the Knicks haven't faced a team like the Pacers that won't quit, just like them, right? But what is shown to me now, and what we've talked about before, and before the playoffs started, and during round 1, when the New York Knicks went up against the Detroit Pistons, and so on and so forth, that we thought the amount of minutes that the starters are getting is gonna is gonna come to bite them in the butt. And now it's showing in this series. You're in the third round of the playoffs. Your legs are giving out. You don't see it on the court because it looks like they're hustling, whatever. But when they shoot the ball, you see it. Mikal Bridges, 9 for 18. OG Anunoby, 6 for 11. Shot pretty good last game. Karl Anthony Towns, 6 for 14. Jalen Brunson, 13 for 27. 5 from 12 from 3.
Yep.
Those are the only 4 players that are scoring for the Knicks. Look at the bench. You only got 11 points from your bench. You only got 3 players coming off your bench to play, while the Pacers got 6 players coming off the bench to play. So the starters get more rest. So when it comes down to the end of the game, which you saw in game 1 and game 2, that the Pacers came back and they ended up winning in game 1. In game 2, it was just a neck-and-neck battle throughout the whole game. But when the fourth quarter started, the Pacers took it to another gear that the Knicks couldn't get to because they're playing so many damn minutes. And then on top of that, why is Karl Anthony Towns not in the game in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter, that he comes in the game with 4 minutes left to play in the game? And they want to talk about, it's because of defense, because Mitchell Robinson has better defense. False. Because the Pacers went up more when Mitchell Robinson was in the game. So Karl Anthony Towns should have been in the game. If you're trading for a star like that to come to your team to play in what you think you're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals and even in the NBA Finals, because they could still come back in this series, you got to play him the whole game, and especially in the fourth quarter. Like, why is he sitting down? He could have probably ended with a 30-point night, and he probably could have helped the Knicks win by probably 1 or 2 points. But no, you're sitting him because you think that Mitchell Robinson is going to do a little bit more effectiveness on the defensive end. He's not doing jack squat. 6 points, 2 for 3, 2 for 4 for the free throw. He grabbed 9 boards. Yes, that's a great help for sure. And he had 3 blocks. So he is playing better defense than Karl Anthony Towns. But I don't care. You trade for a star player like this, he better be in the fourth quarter when the game is close, bro. I'm sorry. He has to be in the game. And especially that he's your second best scorer. And you got no one else to score. You only got 4 players that can score when the Pacers have 6 players that can put up points. Like, It just doesn't make sense to me. But the Knicks are finding out that the Pacers are another team like them, that they don't quit. And, it looks bad right now. They're down 0-2. But the Knicks are 5-1 in the road in this playoffs. So anything can happen from here on out. But they need some more production for some other players. Why not put PJ Tucker in to play 3-and-D? Let him play 10 or 15 minutes. Precious Achiuwa, let him come in for Mitchell Robinson and do some work. Like, come on, bro. Like, you got to use more of these players. Like, I'm sorry. You can't just do it with your starting five. Well, your starting 5 is showing that they can't get their legs under them because they're playing the whole game.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, man. I will give Mitchell Robinson credit in the last game, though. Mitchell Robinson was having a really impactful game, but you're completely right. You traded for Karl Anthony Towns. Why are you not utilizing his skill set, what he is actually supposed to be doing out there? He's obviously can handle the free throws as well. So even if they start hacking him or something, he can shoot free throws better than Mitchell Robinson can. So it's kind of odd to me. I don't know if maybe it's a lingering injury that we don't know about that I'm sure will probably come out later, or the fact of just Towns is just one of those guys that these 7'2" guys, their body just wears down on them at some point in time, man. And he put a lot of. He was a star in Minnesota. He played a lot of minutes there, and so I don't know if that's coming to take effect on him later on in his career. He still is a younger guy, but I mean these bigger guys sometimes they can't maintain that body structure and being able to do it as long. As far as you go, Indiana, man, I like the way Indiana just plays. We've been talking about it for the most part this entire playoffs. It's like the team basketball, man. Siakam took over that game, but Siakam doesn't have to always be the guy. They have, you had Obi Toppin putting in some points. What I like about what Indiana does is they don't, and almost kind of like the opposite of what the Celtics did. The Celtics live and die by the 3. They even if they weren't making them, they continually shoot it. The Pacers, on the other hand, seem like if one guy isn't hitting the shot, they're smart enough to give it to somebody else that is, and then do what they have to do, and then maybe 2-3 minutes, I got out of my little funk or whatever it is, and then I can start hitting shots. As you said before, multiple people are in double digits, and that's how that's winning basketball. That's how you're supposed to be able to play, is utilize the entire team. And I think they're very smart. And I love the head coach. He was obviously Dallas's head coach for a long time. Rick Carlisle played for Indiana as well. So I think he's a good X's and O's coaches. And he also has the perfect fit in the way he likes to run basketball. So I think that Indiana is put together very, very well. They have one star. You can, even though the NBA thinks he's overrated, I love Tyrese Halliburton, and I like his 1B and Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam is, in my opinion, top 15, top 20 player in the league, but you'll never hear about the guy because he don't need to, because Pascal Siakam just goes out and balls and does what he needs to do. So I like the way they're constructed. They have their shooting. Naismith is also coming on, finally doing what he was actually drafted to do and be a shooter. So I think that Indiana is just gelling so well together, and I'm not sure if New York has the firepower enough to be able to come back, because Indiana can score with anybody. And if they a little bit lax on defense, I mean, there's no question about that, but that's supposed to be New York's best thing. And that's also become their worst thing that they've been giving up, is in the fourth quarter, they've been also just been blowing these defensive leads. And New York is supposed to be the defensive tough guy out of this team, the series. And it's been all Indiana.
And real quick. Yeah. I'm sorry. But did you guys watch the ending of the game at least, if you didn't watch the whole game?
I did not. I didn't get a chance to know.
There was 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Pacers went up. I think it was 110. It was 110-107, and it was 14 seconds left. And Jalen Brunson comes down the court, and he gets 2 picks on 2 different guys. So he runs to the right side wing, and he pulls a 3. Like right when he got there, he pulls the 3, right? And when you look at the play, it's like, why did you do that? You still had like about 9 seconds to maybe make a move, make a pass, or fake it, get the defender to jump and try to foul you, and then shoot it. But he literally just went, dribbled, got to the spot, and pulled up, and who is it? Naismith put his hand up right in his face, just like that, and he blew it. Like, he just hit the backboard. He didn't even hit rim. He blew it. And I was just like, why would you take that shot like that? Like, like you're a smart enough player to, obviously, he foul baits. You see it happen. A lot of people like criticize him for it, but it's just the smartness of the game, and especially in the playoff, you're trying to win. You're trying to get to the finals. So at that point, why don't you do that? Why did you just pull up when, to me, it didn't even look like a good shot? It looked like a rush shot, which is why he didn't even hit rims. So I was just like super confused there, and like, dude, like Brunson, like you should have done something a little bit better than that. You're only down 3 points. Maybe you could have gotten a foul. You're already in the bonus. So if he would have just tapped you, you would have got a foul.
Right. Go for the 3 point. Go for the 2-and-1, or get the solid 2 points.
No, where he was at, he would have gotten a 3. He would have gotten 3 free throws where he was at. So, I don't know. It was just weird to me.
Yeah, and I mean, just kind of going back to some of the points you guys were touching on earlier, though, too, like, obviously, just looking at it, Mikal Bridges this playoff series has been averaging just under 46 minutes a game. Like, this is nothing new. If you follow Tom Thibodeau's coaching style, like, over the years, he just abuses his starters and puts them in for the longest stretches of time, really wears them out and grinds them out over a period of time. This is why, as well, he's never been to an NBA Finals, I think, because he just abuses his starters so much, doesn't rely on his depth at all. By the time the postseason comes, his guys are gassed. And again, we talked about it with Karl Anthony Towns, him not really getting a lot of minutes in the fourth quarter. This has been Tom Thibodeau's whole mentality, is defense. He focuses on defense so much. And even when Cat was in Minnesota, that was the biggest problem and complaints with him, is that all Thibodeau does, defense. So I'm not really surprised by them resting Cat, or them not bringing in Cat until or only using him for 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, because that's literally Tibbs' whole mentality. It's been his mentality in Minnesota when Towns was there. It's been his whole mentality in Chicago. It's a style of coaching that is not geared for long-term success. Yeah, you'll get a lot of wins during the regular season. Yeah, you'll make some noise in the playoffs. You may very well get to the conference finals as well. But if you want to make that push for the NBA Finals, you have to be willing to trust your bench. You have to give your starters some rest during the postseason. And we're seeing it right now. We're seeing as well why Rick Carlisle is an NBA champion head coach, And is why Tom Thibodeau is still searching for his first ring after all these years.
Yeah, like you look at the Pacers bench, right? Obi Toppin, 19 minutes,
Yep.
2 for 6, 4 points, but he had 2 rebounds and two assists. So he impacted. TJ
Yep.
McConnell, 14 minutes, 5 for 8, 0 for 2 for 3, but he had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 10 points. Ben Shepherd, which is one of the best defensive players on that team, which is why he comes in for Tyrese Halliburton, like at the end to try to make sure that he gets a stop. 13 minutes, 2 for 3, and both of those were 3-pointers, 6 points, and he had 1 rebound. And obviously, he's playing defense on Jalen Brunson. So it's like you get impactful minutes from 3 of your bench players when the New York Knicks 3 bench players gets 29 minutes out of Mitchell Robinson, 2 for 3, 2 for 4 from the free throw. He had 9 rebounds, so very impactful there, and 3 blocks, like I mentioned earlier, but only 6 points. Miles McBride, 2 for 5, 1 for 4 from 3, and 5 points with 25 minutes. And it's like, dude, how about you take away maybe 6, 8 minutes out of Mitchell Robinson and give him to Precious Achiuwa, see what he could do. And you take away 5 to 10 minutes away from Miles McBride and you give it to PJ Tucker and you see what he can do because they're basically the same player. Just one is younger than the other. But PJ Tucker has been to finals, has been to Eastern Conference Finals, has been to Western Conference Finals. He's a winner. He knows what he needs to do out there on the floor. Miles McBride is like, 3 years into the league?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting series going forward. I like the way Indiana's playing. I think New York will be able to squeak out at least one win out of this one. But I just as it stands right now, I'm just liking the way I see from Indiana. Well, maybe we can, I don't want to necessarily make predictions yet because it's only 2 games in. But I'm pretty high on Indiana right now coming out of that series. But we also got some more games, and we'll be talking about it more as the playoffs go on. Let's go ahead and move out to the West Coast out here. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder up 2-0 on the Minnesota Timberwolves. G-Mike, all right, buddy. We obviously got the MVP and SGA out there. Is this one a surprise, man? Up 2-0. I'm kind of surprised in both series are up 2-0 right now. Is this a surprise to you, though?
This is much less of a surprise to me, but I did think it was going to be 1-1 because I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are a great team, right? But it's just with them, the second game, they couldn't get anything out of Julius Randle. And he's had an amazing playoffs this year. So, like, having one bad game, you can't fault that, right? You can't fault that. But, you need something more from the other players. Rudy Gobert, 30 minutes, 2 for 5, fucking 9 rebounds, only 5 points. What is that? You're a $200 million center. What is that? Mike Conley, 1 for 6, 1 for 4, only 3 points. 3 assists, 3 rebounds, but man, you got to score a little bit more, bro. And especially that you told your team, yo, I'm about to retire. I need you guys to do it for me selfishly. Well, where you at? Yeah. You know where to be found. Yep. Naz Reid, you're supposed to be a 6-man of the year candidate. And this whole playoffs, you've been wishy-washy, more wishy than anything. 3 for 8, 0 for 5 from 3, 10 points. Yes, you had 8 rebounds and 2 blocks. You're still impactful, but dude, you gotta be scoring 15 points every night, bro. Like, what is this? It's just, and then when you look at OKC, we know what OKC's about, man. They're a well-oiled machine, bro. They play great defense all together. They play offense all together. They got the MVP for a reason, 38 points. Yeah, a lot of people like to call him a foul merchant, which we'll get into it. But dude, like, this whole series is going to be on the fact that Minnesota is going to be able to keep up with the Thunder from quarter 1 to 2. But then when halftime comes around, OKC takes it up to another gear, just like the Indiana Pacers, and the Minnesota Timberwolves can't keep up. They can't keep up. And Anthony Edwards shot 1 from 9 from 3. That sucks, but you guys still almost lost by 20, so it doesn't really matter. Like, you need more from your role players. Obviously, Julius Randle had a bad night. If he had a good night, maybe this game would have probably ended by, like, OKC winning by 5 or 3. But even in the first game, Julius Randle had a great game, but then OKC just took it to another crazy level in the third quarter. That first half of the first game, they were missing so much. They probably missed so many more shots than they ever did this whole season in that first half, and they were only down 4 points going into halftime. you can't win like that when you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, man, and especially against a OKC team like this that arguably has one of the best teams in NBA history.
Yep. Honestly, like it's just been sheer domination from OKC, and literally every single statistical category aside from blocks, they are just demolishing Minnesota in. They got the lead in points, rebounds, assists. They have 7.5 more steals they're averaging per game than Minnesota, and then the field goal percentage over 12 percentage points. 3-point percentage, they've got almost a 10-point lead. And then free throws as well. It's a 6 or 5.5 point. So like they're more efficient. They're dominating. They are dominating on the perimeter defense. They're dominating on the boards, and we're just seeing it as well. Like they smother you the second you bring that ball across half court. They have the guys. They have the bodies, not just from the starters, but even on the bench. You've got guys that are getting 2-3 steals a night at multiple levels of the team. So they are doing their job, and then we're seeing it. We're seeing more of a quicker, faster paced OKC squad that is just being able to blitz and absolutely demolish and smother to put it frankly, a slower plotting Minnesota squad. Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. It's like a twin tower bigs combo. They're showing why speed matters in the playoffs. Like depth matters in the postseason, and it's a fascinating matchup to see speed versus size. And Oklahoma City's hitting all their shots. They're doing everything they can, and to be frank, as great as they've been dominating in terms of 3-point percentage, Shea's only shot 17% from 3-point land like this playoffs. Honestly, he's been quite inefficient from everywhere aside from the free throw line. So I still don't think that they've played their best basketball yet this series. And unless Minnesota finds a way to take advantage of it, they're going to get dog walked. And I could honestly see this going to a sweep.
Yo, for real.
Yeah, I can see this one going to a sweep as well. And, there's definitely a lot you can untake with this one, but this is also, and I know it's always been like my go-to is to talk about Ant, but I mean, these are some of the problems that he's had is that he's gone 17 of 39 in 2 games. That's not going to get it done for you if you're supposed to be the dude. They need his other players to step up without a doubt. So they're going to have to really reconstruct how they're put together because they're slow. They're just relying too much on Anthony Edwards, I think. At this point, I think Anthony Edwards is a great player. Don't get me wrong, and I've been bashing him for a long time since we've been doing the show, and it's more of just how he's been going. But my point is, I'm saying is that I think it's where the difference with like an SGA and an Ant. SGA, I think that he does so much more than Anthony Edwards does on the team. Anthony Edwards, I feel like gets in a rut, and if he's not really helping you out any other ways. SGA, on the other hand, like you said, he's only been shooting 17% or something. He's not been having the greatest necessarily offensive games, but you would never know it judging by how the team plays because he still runs to the offense, then plays defense, and is very efficient in what he's doing. I feel like Ant gets in these ruts where if I'm not making shots, then he's not really creating much else for anybody else. Am I wrong in this one or no?
I would disagree a bit, right? Because he has 6 assists this last game, right? Yeah, he shoots more 3-pointers than Shea because Shea attacks the basket a lot. And I'll bring this up a little later when we're talking about the foul metric. But Anthony Edwards shoots a lot of threes, which is why he led the league in 3 points made this season. He went 1 for 9, so he had a bad night of shooting, but he still scored 32 points. He was still efficient. And he went to the free throw line too. He was 7%. But when you got guys on your team who are going 2 for 11, again, Julius Randle just had a bad game because he's had a big playoffs. But he went 2 for 11. Rudy Gobert only 2 for 5. Why are you a big man like him and you're only taking 5 shots? Like, dude, like it's not like Chet Holmgren is this big shack of a dominant center that can stop you and whatever. No, you're stronger than he is. Push him out of the way. Hartenstein, yeah, he's a little stronger than Chet, but he's shorter, so you can put the ball over him. Do a little sky hook, do a little something. Work on your offensive game. But obviously, we know Rudy Gobert isn't that person. But you look to the other players. Naz Reid, 3 for 8, 0 for 5 from 3. Like, everybody has a certain role. Nas Reed's role, when he comes off the bench, is to score the ball. He only had 10 points. You're not going to win like that, bro. And especially against, like I said, arguably one of the best teams in NBA history in the OKC Thunder.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
this series is just interesting, and I think that OKC is just showing how and why they've been one of the most dominant teams of the season. They've been the talk of the season, really, and they are just showing you why. They get it done on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend you, and if you can do both of those two things, it's kind of obvious that you'll be up in a series. You know,
yeah,
they're more efficient. Like I'm
100%.
looking at it right now, they literally made half of their shots last game.
Yep.
They're more efficient. While the Minnesota Timberwolves, they went 42%.
Yep.
Yeah, and you brought it up a little bit ago. SGA obviously is now the MVP. So I love it. I like the way he plays it. I like his game, and I like the way he plays. I just feel like he's just a guy that just doesn't waste a lot of time, and he just seems he's so efficient to me. He's like a pure basketball player that I think that does everything that you're supposed to do right. So I think he's a deserving MVP. I think Jokic probably still should have got it, but I mean, I understand why that SGA ended up getting it, though.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, yeah, I definitely was more in the camp of Jokic just because, you know, like the season he had. But I definitely do understand SGA. I think that he's a guy that's always been on the precipice of getting the MVP. You know, his two-way efficiency is incredible. The fact that he not only puts up a lot of points, and he does for a guard, he gets a good amount of boards and assists too, especially as a scoring guard. But he also plays great defense as well, and so I think that that's something that you can't overshadow. You know, he averaged close to 2 steals, averaged a block this year too. So you're always getting at least like 3 steals and blocks a game out of him. So you can always expect to have him not just contribute on the offensive end, but the defensive end. And I think that if OKC is able to go all the way this year, he's able to win championship, knock on wood, able to win finals MVP, knock on wood, he's going to cement himself as, you know, probably the lead guard, you know, the best guard in the game today. You know, no offense to Luka Doncic, but only one of those guys is winning chips. Only one of those guys is winning MVPs and finals MVPs. So, and it's making an impact on both sides.
Exactly. Like, I love a player that makes an impact on both sides, not just one side of the ball, because we're not just only playing defense here, guys. We're not just shooting threes and going for layups and going for fouls or dunks or whatever the case is. No, you need to get back on defense and try to get some steals, try to get some blocks, try to get some stops, try to get some turnovers. It's not a one-side game. It's not a one-side game. Yes. And that's why I think that Shea deserves the MVP. I mean, I'm not the top. I'm not in the field of, if you're on the best team, you should be the MVP if you're the best player on the best team. But this year is just, to me, it's proven. He's on the best team. He's the best player, and he plays amazing on both sides. Like,
yes,
and that's why he deserves it to me.
And it's not just his physical perspective either. We talked about Ant's ability on defense before the two. He's a very physical guy, very stout, 6'4", 225. You know, like he uses a lot of physicality on that end. But Shea, you know, he's about 6'6", about 200 pounds. So he's not the biggest guy out there, but he is very quick. He's very smart, very cerebral. He doesn't really waste a lot of opportunities on that end. He's great in terms of one-on-one defense, but he's great at reading the passing lanes. He's great at being a pickpocket. He is a really just great all-around defender that doesn't just use his physical abilities, isn't just great at positioning, but he's just great at both. So it's a rare combination on that end on the perimeter. And again, we combine it with his insane offensive ability. So it's, I think, a much deserved MVP campaign for him. And I would love to see him cap it off with a championship and cap it off with a finals MVP. And he's on track to do it.
Facts. And just to stay on topic with him, do you guys think that Shea is a foul merchant?
I would say not necessarily like a foul merchant in terms of he's somebody that's somehow getting to the line. Like, yeah, the past couple of series, you can maybe say that, he's getting to the lines a little bit more. But Dwayne Wade in the 06 finals, He went to the line how many times? And
we're not talking about the 06 finals anymore ever again because
I'm just
every
saying,
single time. 91 free throws.
No, but nobody calls Dwayne Wade a foul merchant, though. He's just a guy that slashes to the rim. Shea is very much in that mold of he's either slashing or he's gashing at the three-point line. He doesn't really play a lot of mid-range ball. It's just more the modern game. So I don't necessarily think that he's trying to go for fouls. He's just attacking the rim. And because when you're a guy that either attacks or shoots threes, you're going to get free throws. It's just a natural incident of the game. He's only averaging his free throw attempts are actually down from a few years ago. He was averaging 10 or 11 free throws a game. Now he's at around 8 to 9. So he's not it's not like he's baiting.
No, I think he's a product of how the NBA is now, though. I don't blame SGA, and I don't think his points all come from the free throw line at all. It definitely helps. It pads the stats a little bit that you can get to the line and get those. But I think he's just smart and using it what the rules are right now. If you change the rules because you don't want these guys doing that, then we'll have another conversation. If his points go down from 32 points a game to 18, and now half of it was the free throw line. I just personally think that he's just a smart player. He's a smooth operator, and he's able to get these fouls because other defenders don't know how to guard him. Well, and if you leave him open, he's going to make the shot. So you have to play him physical, but he's able to make his free throws, which I think that's an underrated thing as well, is actually making the free throws. You can get to the line. They're free throws. Yes, they're supposed to be easy shots, but how many of these star players are really not good at shooting those easy shots? Especially in the clutch situations. There's some guys that get to line all the time and don't have that great of a free throw percentage.
Yeah, and I will say, to push back on the narrative too, like you would expect the guy that's the free throw merchant would lead the league in free throw attempts per game. He doesn't. If anything, he actually leads the league this year in field goal attempts. So the dude is just being aggressive and getting shots up. That doesn't mean necessarily like he's getting fouls on every single one. So, but color me crazy.
He's led the league in attacking the basket for the last 3-4 years.
Yep.
Kobe did it in 2010 playoffs. LeBron did it in 2009 playoffs. Yep. My guy Dwayne Wade did it in 2006 playoffs and NBA Finals. Michael Jordan did it. If you guys do not know the game of basketball, you will call him a foul merchant because you see what he does, and he foul baits, and he gets the fouls just like Jalen Brunson. Right?
Brunson does it a lot.
But if you know the game, you know that the big time stars, when the NBA transitioned into this whole foul thing in the mid 2000s, it's been like that, bro. It's been like that. The top players, the smart players, the high IQ players know how to get the defenders off the ground and foul bait. It sucks. I don't like it. I don't like that whole pump fake, get the defender to jump up in the air, jump up into him, and get the foul. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But the NBA calls it. So if you're trying to win a championship,
do what you gotta do to win.
Would you not use all your resources to win? Like it's like if you're not using all your resources to win, then are you really trying to win?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's like a major difference in like what SGA is doing and like what you were alluding to, BC, and James Harden. James Harden, I feel like, was the supreme guy looking for fouls. He's one that almost pretty much created that leap into the guys and get them the fouls, whatever. I still think Harden was a great player, a great scorer, but I do think that Harden's game really did predicate on that the getting the foul calls on him a lot.
Oh, but, yeah, and go ahead.
I hate the fact of like these guys though. What really drives me nuts about the NBA, and it's been getting progressively worse, is borderline the crybaby mentality of like they're so used to getting calls now, and I'm so over the yelling at the ref the whole way down and not getting back on defense. Or come on, man, like just get back and go play again, man. Like it's not like the ref's going to go all of a sudden go, wow, you insulted me. You're completely right. Never mind. Let's call a foul now. Like get back on defense, go play. Like you're not going to get every call. Sometimes, yes, the refs are human and they miss a call, they make a mistake. Sure, but you're not going to get the call by yelling at them saying, "Hey, did you not see that?" Insulting them, but then the other team scores points because you are too busy whining about it. Ergo, one of my favorite players, Luka Doncic. I will admit it. But having said that, man, like I'm just so tired of the NBA doing that. Like Come on, guys. Like, move on.
No, you know
Also-
what really grinds my gears
Oh,
Peter Griffin's in the
it's got
building.
the Family Guy
is
reference.
when they go like this. Yo,
Replay.
review it. Yo, review it. It's like
Yeah.
2 minutes into the game,
As
5
if-
minutes
as
into
if-
the game. Yo,
as
review
if
it.
you,
Yo,
the
review it.
player-
Yo, shut the hell up and get back
Yeah.
on defense, bro.
As if you, the player, have any say on what gets reviewed. It's the coach that's going to review it. Let him do his job. You do your job. Shut up and play D.
It's
But
not even that. It's not even that. If you think about it, you only have one per half. And if
Yeah.
you use one, you lose
Yeah.
it and a timeout. So it's
Yep.
like, why would you want to use that in
Yeah.
the second quarter? In
Yep.
the beginning of the second quarter, like wait till
It's
the
like-
end. Maybe try to make the game a little more tighter, get more
Yep.
momentum going into the locker room. But no, you want to walk around going like this, like if you're freaking Harry Potter.
It's like, sir, you're up by 10. Calm down. We do not need to review this. But I will say as well, like we were talking about earlier with Harden and foul baiting, Shea has never led the league in free throw attempts. James Harden has led the league in free throw attempts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. 7 times. He has only led the league in field goal attempts once. Whereas Shea's led the league in field goal attempts once as well. So that's just funny to me that people want to call him a foul merch. It's like, dude, he's never led anything. He's never led the league in free throw attempts, but he has led the league in free throws made. I want to say he's led it the past 2 years. You want to blame him for anything, blame him for being great at making free throws, and that's it. James Harden, 7 times. That is the epitome of a foul merchant right there. Shea, no.
The sheep are gonna follow the sheep.
Correct. They're going to
one
follow
person
the
says it, another person says it, 10 people say it, 100 people say it without even watching the game, without even looking up the stats, without doing your research. You're out here calling him a foul merchant. Like if he does that all the time, if he does it on purpose, and if he's the only one that has ever done that.
Yep.
And even honestly, like, not to throw shade, but even Doris Brooke during a freaking game called him a foul merchant, bro.
Yep.
Like, you know what? Get her off of there. Don't let her call another game. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Don't let her call another game.
I love that you mentioned Embiid as well, because you know how many times Joel Embiid has led the league in free throw attempts? Twice. So he's more of a foul merchant than Shea. But again, we're calling Shea one because he happens to have a decent amount during the playoffs. And that's the point though that you made. Where do all the sheep learn it from? ESPN, Fox Sports, all these other all the major media markets. Yeah, exactly. Instead of looking at the context, instead of looking at the facts like we do here at Views on the Stands, we research our stuff. They get it from these talking heads on these media networks. But, come at us, ESPN. We're good for it.
I'll tell you what, though. I will become a sheep, ESPN or Fox Sports. If you guys are out there listening right now, I will sheep it up right now. So I think that.
No, man, we're pulling a Pat McAfee over here, man. We're doing our own thing, bro.
He eventually sold out, too.
Man, Barstool. I'm Barstool.
Mm-hmm.
So no filter, no nothing.
Yes, sir.
There we go. All right, so we we'll be getting more into the both sides of the playoffs here. We got some more games. They're up 2-0. Another game's going to be going on tonight with the game 3 for Minnesota and Oklahoma City. Excuse me. And so we got a lot more to talk about, and we'll be definitely getting back into more of the conference championships on Tuesday when we have our show. Go ahead, BC.
I was going to say, I know we talked about not making any predictions because it's only 2-0. I obviously didn't learn my lesson from the last show we did. I don't care. I'm going to make early predictions. I'm just feeling it right now. OKC, Indiana, NBA Finals. Calling it.
Man, that's what it looks like right now.
That's the way it's looking. That's the way it's looking. I think the West.
If I'm wrong, you guys can at me in the comments for as long as you want. Roast me. I don't care. The
way it's looking right now, the West looks like that could be shaping up that way for sure. The East, it's still TBD. And New York has just seemed like they've kind of collapsed a little bit in the end and has been right there with it. Now the West, the West has looked a little bit different. So we're gonna have definitely a lot more of the conference talk coming up on our next show because we'll have some more games in there. But we are going to move from the conference finals to one of our favorite segments coming up. Are you guys ready for this? It's going to. All All right, if you don't know that sound, it's time for the Down Bad Debate, and we have a few of them today. We've been having a lot of fun with these, and we're looking for you guys out there, if you guys are listening, watching, to make some comments and join in on this one. We have 3 of them today that we're actually going to do, including one is going to be a snake NBA draft. Because 2 of them are basketball, we're going to go ahead and get the first one out the way. We're going to go with football first. And this one's going to be a pretty interesting conversation. This one is going to be, and if you cannot see on the screen, if you're not watching live, I'll go ahead and explain it for the audio as well. It's up here that we have which QB will have the best sophomore season. We got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr. Each one of these guys has potential to have a breakout year in their sophomore year for different reasons. Mr. BC, I'm going to have you go ahead and go first in this situation here. Out of these guys, who do you think will have the best sophomore season?
So are we breaking this just in terms of objective sophomore season out of all the 3, or are we talking about in terms of like the biggest leap from compared to where they were last year?
See, I was going to ask the same thing, right? Because I think the obvious answer is Jaden Daniels after what he just proved. So I think like what you're asking, like who's going to have the biggest leap, I think that would be the best.
Well, honestly, I disagree on that one as well, because I think out of all these guys in this situation, it comes down to Drake May and Michael Penix, because considering that Drake May didn't get a chance to start, and this is be his first starting season. And same thing with Michael Penix. So those 2 definitely have a little bit different. They had a different year than the first 3, the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, but considering that they didn't even get to play the entire season. So
that's
I don't think
that's what BC was saying. He's saying which one is going to have the biggest leap. That's what I'm saying.
Are we talking about biggest leaps this year? Or are we talking about like just objectively?
Because if we're saying objectively like the best second year, Jaden Daniels has had a phenomenal freshman year. I think he can fucking pull it off again. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, if we're gonna base it strictly on just objectively the best season of all these rookie quarterbacks for this year, it's gonna be Jaden. Just because I love the culture that Washington's building down there or up there. Like they've improved on offense. Obviously, bringing in Deebo Samuel. Take that for what you will. But I think a lot of these guys are gonna continue. A lot of these younger players, McCaffrey, they're gonna make big leaps this second year. And I like what they're doing. They have a winning culture there now. And I for better or worse, I think that they're just the culture there is gonna help elevate Jaden. I think that he's gonna avoid the sophomore slump that I think a lot of these guys, your Caleb Williams and your Bo Nixes, I don't think that they're gonna be able to avoid because Chicago, I think they're gonna take steps back this year. Denver, I think as well, they're gonna be a team that takes steps back. I think that in terms of well-roundedness, I think the only team that I really see making big leaps is going to be Washington. And so I'm going to credit that to Jaden. I think that he has the best weapons around him. I think that he has the best coaching. I think that he has the best culture. And so I think that just based on all that, he might not have the biggest leap in terms of last year to this year, but I think that he's just going to continue to build off it, and he's just going to look objectively better, and he's going to go objectively farther than anybody on this list.
So I'm going to go actually Caleb Williams in this one. And like I've been saying for the last offseason, I personally think the Chicago Bears had a great offseason. So I really like what they did. They got the new head coach in there. They've shored up the line. They've got some good wide receivers. They got a new good tight end. They have 2 good tight ends. They still have Cole Kmet as well. So it's not just, Colston Loveland out there. I think they could use a little bit of help on the running game. Let's see what DeAndre Swift can do. And they also got Roschon Johnson as well. But I personally think that Caleb Williams is going to have a major leap because he can only go up, because realistically, the Chicago Bears were, I believe he was 28th in point scoring. They barely did anything last year. And I think it was a lot to do with the defensive minded head coach that they used to have in Eberflus. I think that's going to be a completely different ball game now, and I think they're going to become a new offensive team and make that big leap that Detroit made. I think that Caleb Williams is going to have one hell of a year, and I also really like Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix showed last year that he's the real deal in a winnable division. I'm not as high on the Chiefs. You still have to go through the Chargers, but that division is going to be very, very interesting. But I like Bo Nix a lot as well. But if I had to choose any of these guys, I'm going to go Caleb Williams as going to have the best sophomore season.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr. I think the offensive weapons that he has are just unmatched compared to all these other guys. Jaden Daniels does have a lot of weapons on his end, but the running back situation is a little bit wishy-washy there. I think the running back situation for Atlanta is amazing, really. And I think in the second year, he's going to be able to prove himself with his long ball throw, his short distance throw. I think his accuracy is on point. And he's in a weaker division than any of these other guys. So I feel like he will have a chance to get more dubs than these guys will in their division.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point, really, that Michael Penix really does have a chance to play for the championship, and I think Tampa Bay is going to be really good too. I'm not saying like it's not a slight on Tampa Bay at all or anything, but out of Tampa Bay, Carolina, and I feel like an idiot. What's the last one in there?
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. New Orleans isn't going to do a damn thing.
Arch Manning's future team.
Exactly. New Orleans is going to do a damn thing. So let's go ahead and cancel all those games out. So really, you're just fighting pretty much between Tampa Bay. I personally like Carolina a lot. I think they're going to make some improvements, but I don't know if they're necessarily ready per se yet. But I think that he has an actual chance. It's pretty much going to come down to the top two teams in there, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. So I think you're completely correct that Michael Penix going out of that draft was my favorite quarterback. I thought Michael Penix was going to be great. And, everybody made fun of the picking him at 6 after making the Kirk Cousins deal. We'll see if they were right. Maybe we'll see if they were right. I thought I like Michael Penix a lot, so I could definitely see Michael Penix making that nice jump. So I think, G-Mike, you're on the right path here too. And honestly, I think Drake May is going to surprise. I think Drake May is the real deal. I like his running ability. I think New England just needs to improve on offense. They clearly need some better wide receivers. Shore up the line a little bit more. They need some interesting picks, but they're stepping in the right direction, if you will. But I just don't know if offensively if they're ready. But I think Drake May is the real deal in the games that he got to play. Looks like he's a big bodied guy. He reminds me of like a small Josh Allen, maybe like a Jalen Hurts kind of guy. But I think Drake May definitely has what it takes. And who can obviously say anything bad about Jaden Daniels, man? The kid was just absolutely electric last year. So.
I will push back on Michael Penix. Like, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's got some good.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
I don't think Atlanta has a shot this year because they beat the Bucs twice last year and still fumbled the bag. And I think this year,
they had Kirk Cousins that he couldn't even move. Literally, he'll drop back and that's it.
I know, but I look, the way I see this division going, they're going to be fighting with Carolina for second place. I'm sorry. That's just, again, early prediction. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but they're fighting for second place. It's not man.
We'll see.
That's funny. That's great. All right, so just so we can put this back into perspective real quick, let's start from the top. BC, who has had the best sophomore season?
I think Jaden Daniels is. I think he's in the best team situation. He's got the best culture around him. He's got the best coaching around him. By far, Jaden Daniels is going to lead the pack sophomore year.
I'm taking Caleb Williams. I think he was number one pick for a reason, and I think that he actually didn't really have the surrounding cast around him that he needed. Granted, he had a lot of good wide receivers last year, but I think that the fact of they got a new head coach in Ben Johnson, and I think that he's going to be able to take Caleb Williams and actually use him for what he actually can do. They short up the line, and I love the tight ends they have. I'm going to take Caleb Williams.
I'm going to take Michael Penix Jr. to have the biggest leap out of everybody here. I think the offensive weapons that he has is just going to create more. It's going to pad his stats, really. The division that he's in is a weaker division. He's going to be able to get more wins than these other guys here. And he's going to show his skills with his long ball throw, his accuracy, and his legs when he's moving.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be what's wild is that, I think that this class here is going to go down as one of the better classes, too. Because all of these guys, you can make cases that can make major leaps and lead the franchise in the right direction. Drake May just needs some more offensive weapons. I think Bo Nix, out of these guys, probably is the least talked about guy, but Bo Nix had himself one hell of a year as well, as far as the rookie season. So, and Bo Nix, I think it fits in perfect. He's like a Brock Purdy, which in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, they fit the system. Bo Nix is basically a Drew Brees. He's more mobile than Drew Brees, but he's very accurate, and that's what Sean Payton wants. He don't make turnovers, and they can come up with unique plays. So I think that Bo Nix has a bright future, and all of these guys, if it works out, it's going to go down as a fantastic quarterback class. I mean, the fact of all these guys are so young and that they're the leaders of the franchise already, I think the NFL is in a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to move on to one more before we jump into our draft, and this one's going to be a lot of fun, man. This one is One's Gotta Go, and these are always fun to do. If you can't see on the screen, I'll explain it to you on here. One Gotta Go. We got Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, and LeBron James. BC went first last time. Mr. G, Mike, you're up first. One Gotta Go, my man.
Tough, man. This is super tough, bro. Honestly, super tough. You got Mamba, you got Black Mamba, you got White Mamba, You got Magic, got Mr. Fundamental, got Mr. Dominant, and then the GOAT. Crazy,
Second
man.
GOAT.
Nah. First GOAT.
Nah.
The only GOAT.
Nah.
No.
First GOAT we'll get to in the next one, but yeah.
Bro,
Okay.
tough, man. I don't know, bro. It's super tough, but if I gotta make a decision right now, man, I'm gonna go with Tim Duncan, bro. I'm gonna take out Tim Duncan just because on the pure fact that his athletic ability is not one that I like so much compared to these other guys. Even though Larry Bird is not that athletic, but for his time, where the place that he was put in his generation, he was athletic for his time, and he was crazy, insane good for Indiana. Put Indiana on the map. Yes, he played for the Boston Celtics, but he put Indiana on the map because
Indiana
he's
State.
from there. So a lot of people loved basketball because of him, and which is why the Pacers fan base is so big right now. And obviously he coached for the Pacers if you didn't know that. But Tim Duncan, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I love his skill, and especially the shot right off the backboard going into the rim. That was amazing. That was prolific for me. But I think just because of his athletic ability compared to these guys is much less. I think I gotta go with him.
Yeah, I would definitely. I'm a piggyback off of what you're saying too. And out of these guys, I would go Tim Duncan. I think that Larry Bird. I think you're right on the head on that one too. Larry Bird, I feel like is one of the most underrated, forgotten about guys, if you will. When people start talking about greats, it'll be Jordan, LeBron, blah blah. But Bird was a bad dude, man. If you go watching these highlights and just hearing other players talk about Larry Bird, about how he would talk so much trash and then just back it up. He could do so much on the court and earn the respect of so many different players. So Larry Bird was definitely on my list of one can't go out of these guys. But if I had to choose out of all of these ones, I'm going to go Tim Duncan. Yes, he was Mr. Fundamentals. Yes, he was one of the most accurate and most consistent players out of this entire list. But if we're just going to go off of who I want on my team, I'm gonna get rid of Tim Duncan this one.
All right. Well, before I get into my pick, I will say as well, Larry Bird. One other thing we're forgetting: not only is he's only person that I'm aware of that has won MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year. What little fun stat about Larry Legend right there. But
Well,
I'm
he's
gonna
the only one that's a damn coach. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, one of the only people in history that's got that award, though, too. We've seen a lot of players and coaches.
Out of these guys,
yeah.
He's the only one that goes.
Well, I'm just gonna say, in terms of in all time, though, too, to be great as a player, as a coach, and as an executive, that is such a rare combination.
The only guy I think that might be able to match something along those lines would probably be Bill Russell.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Bill was an executive, though.
I don't think so. That'd be the only thing. But I think he would be able to be in that conversation, possibly.
Oh, for sure. But it's still at all three levels.
Steve Kerr, too. Steve Kerr.
But in terms of dominance, though, as a player, though, that's my choice.
Yeah.
A lot of guys have two of those, but he was one of those guys that just did all three, and that's incredible. Yeah. But I will say I'm going to buck the trend in this one. I'm actually going to take out Shaq, and my reasoning for that is only one of these guys had a whole strategy developed on how to kind of cancel him out of a game, and that's the Hack-a-Shaq. Not to deride him from being dominant in multiple facets of the game. Obviously, I'm not knocking him for that. But out of all these guys, there's been one proven strategy in the fourth quarter. If you want to take him out of the game, foul. And his free throw percentage has been awful. So, I can trust Kobe at the line. I can trust Timmy, LeBron, Larry, and Magic. Yeah, I can trust Timmy. I can trust all of these guys at the line. But if it's a 1-point game and I've got Shaq, I can't do it. And if we're gonna nitpick like that, I've gotta knock him for that. So, and plus I can always slide Timmy to the center. I can always put LeBron at my power forward, and then the top three are gonna be the 1 through 3. So, but yeah, Shaq, I'm sorry, dude. You got a whole strategy named after you. Got to cancel you out. I got to knock you for that. Sorry, bud.
Yeah. You got to be named. You got to go down for something, I suppose. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and just recap this one real quick, starting from the bottom down there. Mr. G, Mike, you're up first. Who you taking? One's got to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Tim Duncan just because of the athletic ability. He is athletic, but compared to these guys, he's much less. So I would take him out just because
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take Tim Duncan, and Larry Bird is on my absolute cannot list. Being outgoing, got to go. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that I'm going to take Tim Duncan just out of these players. I think that his skill set or his offensive skill set doesn't match up with these other guys.
3 words, hack a Shaq. Can't roll with it.
Well said. Well said. All right, so we're going to try something we really haven't really done very much before, and we are going to go and do a draft, an NBA draft here. I'm going to go ahead and rearrange the screen a little bit so we can go in the order that we're going in. And yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to do this basically snake draft. Wow, that is a fun word to try and say pretty quickly.
Snake draft.
That 5 times fast.
It's like when you remember Steve in school when they made you like warm up before you speak, or
tongue to the teeth and to the lips.
Yeah.
Like
tongue teeth.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We went ahead and pulled straws behind the scenes, and so we got the order set up. BC won first, G Mike is second, and I'm going third. This is going to be an all NBA of the '90s. These are just some certain players that we had up here, and so basically we're going to go ahead and fill out our starting 5. Doesn't necessarily have to go in any kind of order, whatever position you want. So we're going to go ahead and unveil them, what we have up here, and it is going to be, if you can't see up on the screen, I will explain it to you. It is going to be the point guards, John Stockton, Anthony Hardaway, Gary Payton, Tim Hardaway. The shooting guards, we got Reggie Miller, Michael Jordan, Clyde the Glide, and who's that? Who the hell even is that one? My last one, is that Mitch Richmond?
I think that's Sean Kemp, no?
No, that's Mitch Richmond, I believe.
That's Mitch Richmond.
Anyway, sorry about that. I was trying to figure out who the hell that one even was.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah,
real quick. So we're doing one of each, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're making your starting 5 lineup. However, you can choose them, however, whatever order you want.
Right. Yep. One of each position.
Whatever the position, right, however you want to do it.
Tripping. I thought you were talking about the power forward.
Yeah. So you can all see it up on the screen up here. So we'll go ahead and get started. Mr. BC, you are up first with the first round pick. The team BC will select.
I have to go with the GOAT, the true GOAT, Mr. Michael Jordan himself. That's the only way you have to start off. No, that's the only way you can start off any 90s draft right there is at my shooting guard, give me Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Está bien. I'm gonna go Hakeem Olajuwon. Starting center, baby. No one messing with that footwork.
Go dream shake.
So that's interesting because I'm going to go take Shaq in this one because I think G Mike and I are on the same kind of page. We're talking 90s basketball here, so I think we have maybe the same strategy.
90s, yeah,
now,
90s, yeah.
Since I'm also the last pick, I'm going to go ahead and bring it back up top because I get the second pick in here. So I'm going to go with Shaq and then give me the new age assassin that would have fit in this any time. Give me Reggie Miller.
That's a good pick.
Nice. Okay.
Mr. BC, team number 1 is up, and now it's time for your second pick.
No.
That's G Mike. G Mike's got it.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to skip me, doggy. Let me take the young Grant Hill, the young Grant Hilly. That boy was a monster when before the injuries. Woo! They actually thought he was gonna be another MJ.
Yep. That's a good pick. That is a good pick. Let me see. Who do I got? Well, I am going to take for my next pick. Let me see. I don't have to worry about center, so I can hold off on that a little bit. Go ahead and give me at my point guard. Give me the glove
right there. What you're doing?
Give me Gary Payton right there. I want him at my 2 or at my 1. Sorry. And then at my 3, I'm going to build an all defensive team on the perimeter. Give me Scottie Pippen.
Ooh, nice. All right. So just as a recap. So I'm up.
Chill. What are you doing? Why you keep skipping me?
Because I want to go.
No, bro.
It's a snake draft. What are you talking about?
It's a snake. It's G Mike's turn, bro.
I'm the snake in this draft. All right.
You had 2 picks already. What do you mean?
Yeah, bro.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. So PC is going straight defense, and the second goal is his only scorer right now. Well, Scottie Pippen could score. Let's see.
All right.
All right. So I got Hakeem Olajuwon. I got Grant Hill. 2 great offensive and defensive players. You know what? I'm gonna get a facilitator out here. Give me John Stockton, baby.
Yeah,
That boy was doing work back in the days, boy.
See,
You
got the small white boy right there. All right.
He gonna create the offense, baby.
That's why I kept on trying to go. I had a stack that I wanted, and you killed my stack, man.
Bro,
Like, why did you have?
you're the one that said, "Are we doing a snake draft?" You're the one that said,
your boy Stockton's only good when paired with one other guy on this team on this roster.
That's
So
the
Steve,
stack I was going with.
You know how to do it, but I don't think any of us want to pick his teammates. So
God, that was the stack that I wanted, man.
Go ahead.
All right, so I finally am up on the clock.
So now you got 2 picks.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you ruined my stack, damn it. All right, so as of right now, I got Shaq on my team and I got Reggie Miller. So I got a shooter and I got a defensive player out there. So what's going to be my next pick in this one? And here,
well, Shaq was dominant on the offensive too.
Yeah, young Shaq was good.
He definitely was. So I'm going to go just straight big here and give me David Robinson and try to beat David Robinson and Shaq on the low post down there. And then I'm going to come back and go with his running mate and give me Anthony Hardaway to run with Mr. Shaquille O'Neal.
Right, so we are picking regardless of positions, or do we got to pick? Are we sticking with? I thought we were
starting 5.
No, he just said starting 5.
Oh, okay. Dang, man. I'm just gonna go with Robinson or something.
So that's gonna be mine. That's gonna be mine.
Waiting.
That's all right. That's all right. I got
Penny Hardaway. So he got Penny Hardaway. He got Shaq. He got David Robinson, and he got Reggie Miller.
That's all right. I got something cooking.
I got John Stockton. I got Grant Hill. I got Keem Olajuwon. God damn, my team is nasty. Let me get a defensive and rebound monster than Dennis Rodman, baby. Let me get that, baby, because I'm getting all the boards, all the defensive stops when it comes to the big man, baby.
Okay, not bad. See, it's interesting though too that you talking about defense and boards and stuff like that. So for my last 2 picks, man, give me the round mound of rebound, Charles Barkley at my 3 or at my 4 rather, and then at my 5, give me Patrick Ewing at center because I need some size. So I got some good rebounding. I got some good underrated defenders, and Charles Barkley at the 4. He's got a good ball handling skills. He's a good facilitator of that position. So I like my picks right there.
All right, that's dope. For my last pick, let me get Clyde Drexler, baby, because that boy was being compared to MJ, but obviously MJ put him in a freaking standstill. But still, he was doing work. And especially with his teammate, Hakeem Olajuwon, where they won some rings there. So let me put him on the squad right there.
So mine was between Chris Mullin. I was thinking Chris Mullin because I think Chris Mullin was one of the most underrated shooters. Chris Mullin was a bad dude. But I'm going to go for just nastiness and give me Sean Kemp on for my my last player on my team. Good luck with all the muscle on my team out here. So I guess let's that's going to end out my team out here, man. So why don't we go ahead and BC reclaim your team and explain it to me.
All right. So for my team, I got Gary Payton at the 1, the glove. I got the GOAT, Michael Jordan at the 2, Scottie Pippen at the 3. Scottie Pippen at the 3, Charles Barkley at the 4, and Patrick Ewing at the 5. Obviously, perimeter defense is going to be a big thing for me. I think every single one of you guys is getting locked down on 1 through 3. And then power forward and center, I think I got some underrated guys over there. Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley both can get me some boards. They can both get me, for sure, some blocks as well as some post defense. And then also, too, underrated playmaking from Charles Barkley at the 4, some good shooting from Patrick Ewing at the 5. I think I got a pretty good, well-balanced lineup. And, again, if all else fails, give it to the GOAT. He's going to give me that last shot and lock you down.
Let me get. I got John Stockton at the 1. Great facilitator. He's going to get his teammates involved no matter what.
Very, very good hustler over there.
Yep. At the 2, let me get Clyde Drexler, where he's a really watered down second GOAT out there with the shooting guard position. Let me get Grant Hill. Young Grant Hill was one of the top prolific scorers and defensive players before his injuries. At the 4, let me get Dennis Rodman. He grabbing all the boards if there's going to be any, and he's going to play some great defense on these big guys. And then at the 5, let me get the dream, Hakeem Olajuwon, that no one's stopping this, man. It's the best center in the damn game.
Yeah. All right. So then my point guard is going to be Anthony Penny Hardaway. My shooting guard is going to be Reggie Miller. My small forward, I went a little bit different here. I got Sean Kemp, and I got two centers down there that's going to play my power forward and my center. I got David Robinson and Shaquille O'Neal, and I got the Anthony Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal stack, which if you're playing any kind of fantasy sports, you love stacks. And that was a nasty stack back in the 90s to be able to put those two back together. They went to a championship together. Unfortunately, they lose to your Hakeem Olajuwon-led team. But having said that, though, I love the way my team is put together. You're not going to be able to score very much. We're probably only going to score 70 points, but you're only going to score 50 on us.
You got two dominant.
About, man? Like, dude, you got Sean Kemp at the 3.
The paint's gonna be clogged.
Yeah.
Like, Reggie Miller's just gonna constantly shoot shots. That's all I need, man. You ain't getting a rebound. It's
dude, that's fine with us, man. You got G Mike, who's got John Stockton, great 3-point shooter. And you got Reggie as well, right? G Mike?
I got Reggie.
Oh, okay. So
you got Reggie. I got Clyde.
You got Clyde. Clyde's still a great shooter too.
I put Grant Hill on.
Yeah. And then for us, Mike, Scotty, they could shoot. You got Gary Payton who can slide. I'm just worried about you guys because you got Sean Kemp starting at the 3 and David Rock. There's so much no spacing on.
You got a lot of big, so that's good.
Team no space. No space.
It's gonna be clogged. Yeah. You guys tell us what you think in the comments. Tell us who got the best team or not, baby.
It's me.
Absolutely. Well, that was extremely fun, and we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this show up. Let's not forget it's Memorial Day weekend, so let's remember actually what it's all about. Thank a serviceman and take some time out of your day.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Take some time out of your day if you see a vet or anything like that, or if you have anybody that you've lost in that in any kind of military or anything like that, just let them know that you're thinking and caring about them. So we really appreciate all the like and subscribes, and please, and just make sure you think of that out there for this weekend, especially because that's what it's all about.
Yep.
BC, you got anything for anybody?
No, man, just to piggyback off of what you said, man, nothing in this world is free. Freedom does not come free. So again, thank you to everybody, all the veterans out there, and thank you as well to all those brave men and women who not only currently serve, but have served. And for those that made the ultimate sacrifice, laid down their lives for us, nothing I say, nothing we say or do can ever repay the debt that we owe to all of you. So thank you for your service.
Yep. Thank you for all the veterans out there, man. You guys are the true heroes doing what most of us probably would never even think about doing.
No.
Because I know for damn sure myself, I would not think about doing that. I would be a big P in doing all that stuff. But thank you again. And for you guys out there, man, please like, subscribe, and share the show with your friends and family. If you guys want to come on the show and talk sports with us, you can do that as well. Just write in one of our social media accounts. You'll see the accounts pop up on the screen. We'll get a conversation going to have you on the show. Or if you just want to write in the comments, ask a little questions, make fun of us, whatever the case is, we would love that engagement. And we appreciate all the listens, all the watches, and all the stuff that you guys have been giving us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. We couldn't do it without you guys. And like I was saying before, thank you very much to all the servicemen and women out there, all the people I served with. Thank you very much, and we appreciate everything out there. Have a fantastic, safe weekend, and be safe. And we will see you guys Tuesday for Views from the Stands. I'm Stevie B. We got G Mike, and we got BC. We is out of here.
Peace.